As someone who grew up with internet fads, creepypastas and YouTubers, I was there for all of it. I remember just logging into YouTube, watching some dumb Minecraft music parodies, and then suddenly diving headfirst into the latest big spooky thing. Slenderman, Five Nights at Freddy's, Undertale, I followed every single one of them. And recently I became obsessed with figuring out why these things blew up. What made people share them? Create fan art, write fanfiction? What was that secret ingredient? I've spent years trying to crack the code, and guess what? I think I finally did. I've discovered the formula that every single one of these internet phenomenons has in common. And it's not just luck or timing, there is a pattern. And today, I'm going to share it. This formula is so powerful that I was actually hesitant to make this video. I mean, if I ever want to reuse that formula myself, the more people know about it, the more competition I will have. And if I'm being honest, I thought about turning this video into a paid course. But here's the thing, I'm not planning on creating a media property for internet virality right now. Maybe someday I'll dive deeper into this theory and make it a paid course, but for now I feel like sharing this revelation with you. In this video we'll break down the key elements of what makes something go viral on the internet today. We'll talk about why likable, well-made marketable characters alone don't cut it anymore. You need that secret spice. So back in the day, it was enough to create a character that was well designed and marketable, like Mario, Sonic, Pikachu, simple designs, catchy names, and boom, they were everywhere. Because in order for these characters to appear in the first place, some big company would already have invested in them. So if a character appeared on a Saturday morning cartoon slot, he's automatically iconic. But now the game has changed. The internet has brought competition to an entirely new level. There are countless characters, stories and games out there, all vying for attention. So how do you make yours stand out? That's what I was thinking. With so much good stuff out there being forgotten by everyone, why does occasionally some random piece of media become super popular and viral all of a sudden? Take recent examples: the amazing digital Circus, Five Nights at Freddy's, Undertale, Doki Literature Club, countless other indie horror projects. I've noticed three things they all have in common. First, very strong mystery. Not just a very well made mystery, but an extremely compelling one. Every single one of these pieces of media are like, this might look like your regular cute media property, but there is actually a big spooky mystery just below the surface, and we on the internet don't know what it is. For some reason people adore this concept so much on the internet, and it usually the media property is like 80% of the cute characters and standard stuff just happening, and just 20% actual spooky mystery. But the community goes wild about the scary part and theorized and do all that stuff, and before you know it, they all love the characters and world altogether. It's like an excuse, like the kid consuming the content will say, nah, I don't like Five Nights at Freddy's because of the gameplay or the animatronic characters. Nah bro, I like it because of the mysteries and lore. So he has like an excuse to still look cool while liking what he sees as childish content. And he believes it too. It's like tricking people into getting familiar with the characters and lore, and now they are attached. Granted, all of the examples I used right now are actually good games/series. If they weren't, they wouldn't be able to sustain a fan base and keep people engaged. They all have their merits. But there are a lot of great stuff that nobody gives the time of the day, because there's just too much media to consume. There's just no time. So what these ARGs or mysteries or hidden lore or whatever do is give that initial push for people to get interested in the world. It is unintentionally genius. Maybe intentionally sometimes, but it's like, yeah man, the bite of 87 and the timeline and such. By the way, I'm gonna buy a bunny plush now because I am attached to this character. So the first point is this, an actual compelling mystery / breaking the fourth wall / a big subversion of expectations to hit virality. Hiding a good marketable piece of media that has its own legs. I can already hear someone saying, oh but that's just called a hook. But I don't think that's actually it. Because a hook is usually something within the media property. Like this concept I found out is more meta, you know? It happens outside the story, in people wanting to see streamer reaction to the media property, creating communities and such. I feel like it's more than just a hook. If you're watching this, you're probably not just a consumer, right? You're a creator, or you're just aspiring to be one. So we really gotta go into every little detail of a success if we want to truly understand what makes it tick. Now the second element, characters and shippability. Think about the characters that have become internet sensations. Let's take Sans Undertale from Undertale, the clown girl from Digital Circus, I don't remember her name, oh yeah, Pomni, and Charlie from Hazbin Hotel. They are well designed, but they are not necessarily deep, complex characters. What they do is evoke strong emotions in people. They have simple, understandable personalities and a few quirks that make them feel deeper than they actually are, but usually represent tropes that you kind of know what to expect from them, just by spending a little time watching them. I am not throwing shade or saying that they are bad characters or just poorly made, absolutely not. On the contrary, actually, this is the optimal way of character designing. When you have a cast of understandable, different, predictable to some point characters, it almost guarantees that people will ship them, write fanfictions about them, and make a lot of fan art, because it can easily resonate with people. Fans can grasp easily who is who at any given moment, even with very subtle clues as to what character we're talking about. Undertale does this so well it's scary with every single character. The music and character writing on that game are both god tier. People will take these characters and imagine them in all sorts of different situations, because they can, because it's easy to do, and the characters are charming enough. And then you have your fanfics, fanarts and all that. And now the third factor. It's the power of imagination. In many of these viral hits, there's an element of limited visuals. Whether it's pixel art, simple designs or minimalist aesthetics, all of these are not just good old flash people walking around. The art style in these viral works on the internet are usually very simplified, abstract or just extremely stylized, leaving a lot for the imagination. Like in Undertale, for example, the characters have no actual voice, the animations are very simple when present, and the attacks are just patterns of abstract shapes and bullets. It leaves a lot of room for people to interpret these moments in a lot of different ways. This might seem like a drawback, but it's actually a very strong point. What people imagine is often far more compelling than what can be shown on screen. When you give your audience just enough to spark their imagination, they fill in the gaps with their own ideas, their own interpretations and background and stories. The more room you leave for imagination, the more invested people become. They start to create their own versions of the story, their own headcanons, and this makes the experience personal, unique to them. It's why something like a simple pixelated character in a horror game can be more terrifying than the most detailed monster in a big budget film. It's why people still talk about games like Undertale and why they are still creating content around it years later. It's because the game left a lot of space for their imagination to run wild, to create, to explore, and that's powerful. If you get this right, you're on your way to creating something that could blow up, something truly special. But if you miss it, well, you might just end up like one of those forgotten pieces of media, lost in the noise of the internet. So no pressure, but what I want to say is just applying these concepts will not guarantee you a huge viral internet success. These are just a few things I've noticed in common with all of these media properties, but it doesn't instantly make you pop off. You still need to have a great marketable product and story underneath all this. You need to know the fundamentals and keep going. But again, if this video is in your algorithm, you probably know all of them already. Focus on your quality and longevity. You won't get far by just being a one-trick pony. Your stuff's gotta have substance. So there you have it, the formula for creating internet phenomena that people can't stop talking about. Marketable designs alone just won't do it anymore. You need the spooky, the mystery, the fourth wall breaks to hook people in, and then you need simple, relatable characters to keep them invested, and you need to leave space for imagination, for people to create their own versions of the story. If you do all that with quality and community interactions to keep the momentum going, I feel like you'd be able to create something very memorable. But remember, this isn't just a checklist, it's a mindset. It's about understanding what makes people tick and what draws them in. And of course, what keeps them coming back. I have a course for writing webcomics, link is in the description, and all I can tell you now is keep learning, keep practicing, because the best is yet to come.